All right, so I would like to discuss a project that was recently done. These have been done plenty of times in the past, and they've always yielded similar results. What I would like to talk about is what happened after these unhoused people got monthly $500 checks. So the answer to that question is two-thirds of those people now have homes. This is incredible. This is an article from the Fast Company that details the following. When a San Francisco-based nonprofit started a basic income pilot last year, giving a small group of people experiencing homelessness $500 a month for 6 months, it didn't expect that cash would be enough to help people find housing in a city where the average one-bedroom apartment rents for more than $3,000 a month. The group predicted that the money would help reduce stress and improve food security, and it did. But two-thirds of people who were unhoused when the pilot began also now have permanent housing. The number has grown since the program first ended, when only a third had moved into new housing. There's a level of incredulity, like, how did this happen, says Kevin Alder, founder and CEO of Miracle Messages, the nonprofit. That's an important narrative to be able to realize. Our unhoused neighbors are often more tapped into resources, housing options, networks that might be able to open up, but just are lacking a little bit of funds. For me, it's yet another testimony of the importance of seeing the agency and intrinsic dignity of each of our unhoused neighbors. In one case, a woman who had lost her job while undergoing cancer treatments couldn't qualify for senior housing, despite the fact that the rent was subsidized because she didn't have enough steady income. The small boost from the basic income pilot was enough for her to meet the requirements and move in. In another case, a man used the funds to relocate out of state, where he was able to move in with a friend. When the pilot began, a few of the recipients were quickly able to find housing. Out of the group of 9 people who were unhoused, 6 now have a place to live. Basic income pilots are growing quickly. A Vancouver pilot gave unhoused recipients $7,000 in cash. Several cities from New York, New Jersey to Chicago are also testing the approach of giving direct cash transfers to people living in poverty. The idea is simple. People living in poverty need money, and they're in the best position to know how to spend it. In the San Francisco pilot, most people spent the money on food and rent, but 2 people also chose to adopt service dogs to help with their anxiety. Others used the money to help support family members. One woman used part of the funds each month to buy food to share with her children and share with children in her neighborhood who didn't have enough to eat. Another used some of the money to buy gas to get to work and clothes to wear on the job. A person with impaired vision bought audiobooks. One person even donated money back to the program, saying, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for myself to once again feel the dignity of being able to support the causes that I believe in." Wow. The program was unique because of its strong social component. The nonprofit's primary work involves connecting people experiencing homelessness with volunteers who become friends, staying in touch with weekly calls and texts. Everyone who participated had already had a volunteer buddy for at least 3 months, and to get the money, they had to agree to continue that relationship. This program would not have worked for me if I didn't have the social aspect of it, says Ray, one of the recipients who asked to be identified by only his first name. Jen, the volunteer who became his friend, he says, gave me 3 things, and that was hope, confidence, and friendship. With those 3 things, I was able to gather myself and think about what's better for me, what's good for me, and you can't do that alone. There's just no way in this world you can do that alone. So all the people that participated in this program said that they felt more financially secure. 77% of them said that they had lower levels of psychological stress. Now, this wasn't a huge program here. There were only, I'm not sure how many people were involved in it, but I don't think it was too many people. But I mean, the facts are the facts, and the evidence is here. And these things have been done plenty of times in the past, but you know, it's continuous and consistent with what we've been hearing for a while now, that combating something like homelessness is better dealt with when we actually give the people that are homeless a home. Go figure, right? Oh my God, that seems so radical and ridiculous. Yeah, you want to know why? And I might not do my best in explaining it here, but it kind of goes as follows. When people are out on the streets, okay, they're pushed into very particular situations in which they may act out and do things that cause us, and us meaning localities, cities, and states, to allocate resources such as police and everything else to go take care of them, and that causes time and money. And in the all in all, it costs more money to deal with them that way than to actually put them in a place and give them remuneration like what was done here in this nonprofit program. And it's cheaper to deal with homelessness that way. It's literally cheaper to fix homelessness by giving the homeless people a home. And as a result, it works better for the society anyway. You know, it's kind of like with marijuana. We spend more money, to the tune of, I think, billions of dollars, arresting people for marijuana, convicting people for weed, doing all this other stuff to combat the substance, then we would save way more money if we were to just legalize it, tax and regulate it. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. But we live in a society where we have a insanely corrupted political system, and as a result of that, these issues don't get solved in a rational way where everybody would benefit from it. It doesn't, and it's incredibly sad. But these types of studies, man, and it really just goes at these what I would like to call these right-wing tropes. They say, oh, well, if you give a homeless person money, they're just going to go spend it on drugs and alcohol and all these bad things. What? No. Am I denying that some people, when you give them these types of funds, aren't going to go spend them on, different types of substances and what have you? I'm not. But that number is so incredibly minuscule. And then you ask yourself, for the people that do, why are they doing it? Where their life is so terrible, they just want to escape reality. I mean, something as simple as providing people $500 a month. I mean, they were able to do things like, find time to get a job, get a house, childcare. I mean, it's just this simple thing opened the door of so many opportunities for these individuals. And I'm incredibly happy for them. But this is something that should be done pretty much everywhere. A lot of people are big proponents of universal basic income. Andrew Yang, the former political candidate, actually, I pretty much think brought that to the mainstream. It was always around. He didn't come up, he didn't invent it. Universal basic income is something that's been around for many, many years at this point. But I like the policy, but look, we don't tax the people that should be taxed in this country. We don't tax the rich. We don't tax corporations. And to the extent that we do tax them, it's nowhere near enough. And so my version of a universal basic income would be something to the effect of, let's actually tax the people that we should be taxing. And people call it a redistribution of wealth. In my eyes, there is no redistribution here. We're just, because, I mean, the bottom 90% are effectively being robbed. Iran Corporation did a study, I cite this all the time, of the top 1% stealing $50 trillion from the bottom 90%. So if we fix the tax codes in this country, something to the effect of what FDR had it back when he was in office years ago, decades ago, it'll just be setting things back the way they should be, or putting things the way they should be. I mean, this isn't rocket science, but apparently to our government and to our political system it is. But here's another study that is incredibly consistent with what we've been seeing previously.